This is Richard Evans, AME. Welcome to AME's 2-Second Lean Tour Series. Fly from our home base, Toronto, to Salt Lake City, Utah. And with that, I'm going to introduce Paul.
All right, thanks, Richard. Well, we're going to be really blown away today because Sunroc and Brandon and his team there have done an extraordinary job of implementing 2-Second Lean at a construction company and a heavy equipment construction company where they move a lot of dirt. And I'm not going to say any more than that because you're going to be blown away. Brandon, it's all yours.
So to start off with, Richard, you actually have a video you want to share, give you a little bit of a background on what Sunroc's like. We work in Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, a little bit in Las Vegas. And Richard, if you want to share our introduction video, that'll give you an idea what Sunroc is about.
The West, a rugged land, a crossroads where frontiersmen blazed trails and built outposts. A place we call home. We follow in their footsteps. We are builders. We shape the land, move the earth, and create the connections between these places. We build the backbone of our communities: sand and gravel, asphalt, concrete, construction, masonry. These are the building blocks of our cities, our neighborhoods, our homes. And for nearly half a century at Sunroc, we have the pride of saying we helped build that. This company was founded on values that we still live by today. The first, we value people. That's why at Sunroc, we believe the most important thing we can build is lasting relationships, especially with our employees and with our customers we treat as valued partners.
Yeah, I feel that Sunroc's a great partner for us. They have a quality product, easy to work with. They have the flexibility and are concerned with our schedule, not necessarily theirs. They have the fleet and the horsepower behind them to get us what we need when we need it.
I've worked with Sunroc for a long time on many projects with concrete, with block, excavation, and paving. They've always been great suppliers and great subcontractors.
On large projects like this one, it's really important for us to have reliable partners like Sunroc who are able to meet our schedule. We're only as good as the subcontractors we work with. They're just a professional outfit that you just know what you're going to get, from pre-construction estimating to the actual implementation of the project, to meeting the schedule, to having the manpower on the site and having the proper equipment and safety. You just get the whole package, and that's why we do business with them.
The West is our home. We are builders. We look forward to building the future of our communities together. Sunroc, building confidence.
Amazing video, amazing company.
So I want to give you a little idea as to where our lean journey started. So it actually started in April of 2018. Now, how did we know when we were presented with lean that it was something that we were looking for? Construction is not known for, the construction industry as a whole is not known for being terribly productive. And we could see that. And we had tried all sorts of different things for years to increase safety, quality, production. And this became even more apparent during the recession of 2008. It really kicked us in the teeth and we had a really hard time surviving. And to be honest, we were on the lookout. We knew we had to get a lot better. I took a class in 2018. It was on lean. Here's the manual actually that I took. I still have the manual. And I thought it was really interesting and everything. But I remember sitting in the class going, you know, we have guys that operate bulldozers for a living. We have guys that put pipe fittings and things together for a living. I don't know how to translate this over to an operator. How in the world does this apply in any way? But during the class, the instructor put on a video. Paul will remember this video. It was a loader just going back and forth all day long feeding an asphalt topper. It was actually a hilarious video. I thought it was great. But I sat there and I watched and I went, you know, this makes sense to an operator. And I was completely blown away by it. I was like, this makes sense. This is the direction that we need to go. So I ran up to the instructor after the class and I said, who the heck was that? I need to know who that was. I gotta find out more. And I got the notepad right here and I'll put up a little bit closer to the camera. Hopefully you can see it. It's a little bit drowned out. There you go. If you look at the top, Paul Akers. And lean is simple. It's about fixing what bugs you. And that was, I think it was about 87 videos over 4 days. I think was the exact number. I got hooked on it, and we knew that was the answer we were looking for. And I knew this is what we needed to be able to change construction, not only at Sunroc, but I think the construction industry as a whole. And that's our lean journey.
Beautiful. What a story, man.
So these guys next to me here, these are our estimators. And any of you that don't know what an estimator does in construction, they put together big, massive proposals, multi-million-dollar proposals. And each of these guys are throwing out multiple a week, like huge projects. And so Colton over here, he's going to tell you how lean helped these estimators to improve their processes as estimators.
Yeah, so us as estimators, a big part of our bid proposal process was data entry. We had to hand type in a lot of data from one program to another. This process was horrible, monotonous. It took a very long time. It was between 4 and 10 hours, depending on the bid that we were doing. Now, today, we have that data entry almost all cut out. It takes about 10 minutes now to transfer that data from one program to the other. And it was really a big collaborative effort between all of us and about about 4 more people. But it really took, one person right in the grind in the middle of that horrible process saying, there's got to be a better way to do this. And maybe that person didn't have the technical expertise to, implement a change, but Rhett or someone else might, would say, yeah, I've done this. We could try this. I think there's a way we could do this. And so over time, all the processes just cut it down to
Colton.
Almost. Yes.
I have a question for you. So weren't you afraid of losing your job? Weren't you afraid of working yourself out of a job?
No, that's a very good question. So we now, not only did we save time, our estimates are more accurate. There's less mistakes because there's an elimination of that human error. But also now us as estimators can spend more time in the strategy of the bid and getting more bids that we want. Also spending more time with the customers, developing that relationship and addressing their concerns, which adds more value above and beyond just a bid proposal. So
amazing. And that's exactly what lean does every time. Wonderful answer.
If you can get so many estimates out so quickly now, how have you got enough field teams to actually win all the proposals?
That's a good question too. That is labor is a big issue right now, and yeah, that it seems to be the problem we're running into now. We give proposals now as a courtesy for our customer to vet other bids, it seems like now. And we can, it is nice, we can be a lot more choosy on the jobs that are best for us and more in our wheelhouse instead of just getting whatever comes our way. So
yes, any other questions?
On your lean journey, how difficult was it to change the mindset of the construction industry in your area of influence?
It took a while. It was hard, to be honest with you. It's difficult because a lot of the things you see online are manufacturing based. And so a lot of people go, well, that's manufacturing, we're different. And we are different, and that's absolutely true. But what was crucial for us is to say, here's some principles. How can we modify that to work in our industry and where and the type of work that we do? And you're going to see this in a minute when we turn the time over to Patrick. But once we started getting the ball rolling, we realized that this actually is possible in our industry. It was a difficult sell and it took a while. I think if we're ready, let's go ahead and turn the time over to Patrick out in the field.
Great job, everyone there in the estimating. You guys are amazing.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How's everyone today?
Great, Patrick. How are you?
We're excellent. We're in beautiful Salt Lake. We're going to go over one of our Super Improvers trucks. This gentleman has took a lot of time to improve his truck and make it easier for his workers to find the tools he has. You can see everything is labeled out. We have everything Kaizen foamed. Come up to the top. Everything is Kaizen foam, so everything has a home, so they know if they're missing a tool, they know what they need to replace. We're using GPS colors with the red. Everything has its own place, which makes it a lot easier for the guys to find what they need as they're going throughout their day. We've even made a new improvement where they've come in and put some foam dividers with the Kaizen foam to separate the pipe wrenches to keep them from rattling around and you know, kind of a better idea of what we're doing.
Awesome.
As we move over to this section of the truck, you can see this is an improvement we've made since we last talked, Paul. We've gone to a dry erase time card, which allows them to fill out their time card. They take a picture of it at the end of the day. And then you can see we've got QR codes. And these QR codes allow them to take that and upload it to Microsoft Teams and give it to the supervisor to ensure that the time cards get entered properly and promptly to keep us from having any time reporting issues.
So it's way easier for them, Patrick, too, right?
It's way easier, and you know, it eliminates some errors, and it gives them confidence. They have pictures of the time cards. We've eliminated a bunch of paper time cards and printing and you know, just human error and turning them in as well. So it's been a really cool improvement. John's truck stays very organized. One thing that we take a lot of advantage of, Paul, is your magnets. And John's made a super cool improvement here. This is a band he keeps on the truck just to ensure that if he hits a bump going across a railroad track or something, if a magnet comes loose, we're good. But if you see this, and we'll kind of get into this a little more later as we move to the trench box, but these are magnetized to the side of the truck. Now, one thing as we move into the trench box that you'll see that's really kind of cool, we're not allowed to modify trench boxes. So these magnets make our life so much better. And I'm going to hand this shovel off to John. And as we move into the trench box section, we'll kind of a little more on that.
Patrick,
go ahead.
Real quick, just show the magnet. I didn't understand how you had it attached, and now I see. Can you show a little close up? This is very clever.
Yeah, so John's got a bunch of these pre-made on his truck. And we've taken the magnet, we've added these eyelets.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart.
Yeah, so they all, zoom in on that for him, Jaden. They all just kind of hang there.
Oh my gosh, that is genius. I've never seen that done.
They've put some pretty good thought in it as well because, right, it's not, we're in the business end of it, so it's kind of an ergonomic spot as well. So it works out really well. A couple other cool things. We've struggled for a long time in the industry with beveling pipe with these big, heavy hot saws, right? I mean, this is cumbersome. So if you zoom in, you can see this pipe is beveled, and we have to do that in order to home it into the gasket. So if you have to do this, right, and you're carrying this big, heavy saw to bevel this pipe, it's just really dangerous, and it's really not the right tool for the right job. So another one of our areas that's on their lean journey found these really cool tools, and we've gone ahead and we've GPS taped them. The blue is for waterline pipe. The green is for sewer pipe. And this tool is a grinder. And what it does is it's a router bit, and this is a die grinder from Milwaukee. And it literally took a very cumbersome process to about a 15-second process.
And a perfect job.
Improving safety, a perfect factory bevel, Paul.
Oh,
and it improves the safety of the individuals. John is really, he has a background in metalworks, right? So when he came to work at Sunroc, he found one of his tools that he used in metal really adapted well to what we do. This is called Wizard Wrap. And you have to put a homing line on your pipe to make sure that you put it in far enough so that it doesn't leak, right?
Okay.
So when they go to make that mark, they wrap the Wizard Wrap around it. And now they've got a straight line that they can go all the way around the pipe and make sure that they get an even line so that they know it's well.
Quality.
So as we come over here to the trench box, you're going to see a couple other really neat improvements. Oh, one other one I got to get in. You see these pipe stems, Paul? Imagine doing this work on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that we've implemented, getting it up off the ground, making their life a lot easier. Most construction companies still are working on the ground putting these together. One of the other cool things that we've had made by our fab shop is this ladder holder, and it holds the ladder together on the side of our trench box and really makes it secure so that they can get in and out. It also keeps it out of the way of the excavator as the trench box moves as they continue trenching. One of the improvements we've done on this crew and on most crews is we've marked, come over here, Jaden, we've marked the size of the bolt so that they don't have to search or guess as to what size it is to attach it to the trench box.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Now, that's to attach the ladder to the trench box, right?
Yes, it is. And John's going to demonstrate kind of how good that works right now and how secure it is.
Patrick, can I just ask a question? Is there any reason why you couldn't weld a little piece of bar on there and just spin it on with your hands? I don't know how tight it has to be.
So that's what we were talking about. So we are not allowed to weld or modify these trench boxes because they are rated for a trench collapse to protect
No.
these
I'm talking about onto the bolt. If you were to weld it on the bolt, so you don't have to use the wrench.
That's a great idea. That's an awesome improvement. Like weld a T-bar on it so we can just turn it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's wonderful. No, I think we're gonna, Paul, I'm gonna steal that. Okay, I'm gonna post that as an improvement video. So, Jaden, if you go back a little bit, you can kind of see this big roll that we have on the side. That is a fabric roller that we've also had fabbed up and we've created.
No way.
And so that keeps us from lifting. So what happens is when we're laying sewer in the groundwater, we have to what they call burrito wrap it. They don't want the silt from the soils infiltrating the sewer gravels, right? They want to keep that clean. So this roller comes out and comes down, and it keeps us from having to lift this heavy roll in and out for these guys in order to do their job. And then we've taken your big magnets, or these big magnets, and so when they go to stick it with the magnet, they put their gravel in. It doesn't rip the fabric down. It makes it easier for them to cut it. And again, like I said, these magnets make a huge difference in these guys' everyday work life, because we're not allowed to modify these trench boxes. We can't weld to them. We can't cut holes in them because they have to be rated. Another awesome improvement.
Patrick, I'm blown away by what
incredible. Patrick,
yeah,
show everybody how you've attached the shovels to the side of the trench box.
Yeah, so as you can see, we showed you the magnets earlier, and boom, it's attached to the side of the trench box, that simply. Now, the thing about that is as they go to move this, is the pipe's a moving thing, right? We put a stick in, and we have to drag this box further down the line. As we drag it further down the line, everything's out of the way. It's off the ground. They're not leaving the shovel behind the trench box, potentially having to walk out into an unsafe zone to grab the shovel. So it just made their life a lot easier. And magnets have really come to be one of our favorites. So
it's mind-boggling what you're doing, but this is what I'm thinking as I see this. I don't know your business very well, even though I've worked on lots of construction sites, but you know your business. I just think to myself, why not have a trench box that's like 3 times as long, so you could, without having, you can set 3 pieces of pipe before you have to move it. I don't know. I'm just asking.
So real quick, real easy. So one of the things this is one of our smaller boxes. Normally, depending on the size of pipe, it dictates the size of box. So we usually run a 20-footer. That's because sewer pipe's 14 feet a stick, and that keeps everybody protected. The hard part is you get a bigger and bigger and bigger trench box. Yeah. You need a bigger and bigger and bigger track hoe. Because we have one of our sister divisions up in Idaho, who's actually visiting with us today. We were up there visiting and getting some neat ideas from his group, and they use 24-foot trench boxes, much bigger, but they deal with different ground conditions than we do. So they're usually going 24, 25 feet deep with lots and lots of groundwater. So they've run their track hoes. I mean, we've got a 330 size cat here, which is a good size hoe. That is like their backfill hoe. They're usually running 374s, 349s, really big machines.
Got it. Okay, just curious, but wow, what a great job you're doing. I've worked on billion dollar companies. I've never seen anybody make the kind of improvements you're making. These are incredible.
Well, it's the guys, and all we had to do was challenge them to think differently, and that is the one thing that we've empowered them to stop and make an improvement, and that's what really made everything gain traction. Brandon has a rule, and we've adopted it. If it's under $200, we'll reimburse you for it. Go get it, build it, do what you want, and you'd be amazed. As we started this journey, guys were just coming up with things and making things on their own at home. One of the things we didn't get to, which I got to show you, Paul, you've got these wonderful things that hold drills, right? So we found that they don't really fit for our big 1/2-inch impacts. And one of John's coolest drawers is how he keeps his power tools. He keeps it very organized and clean. So he has gone and made
his
some
own.
just like yours,
Perfect.
modeled it so it can
Perfect.
fit these big 1/2-inch impacts.
Perfect.
And they just slide in,
Excellent.
keep them from bouncing and rattling
Oh
around.
my gosh, and he did a beautiful job of it too. Look at that.
Yeah,
Out of
and
out of
notice-
PVC
notice-
water pipe.
Yeah, and he's got them on an angle so that they don't
Yeah.
slide backwards. They stay with the weight forwards.
Oh my gosh, gorgeous.
And then one thing, this drawer is pretty organized. You'll say maybe there's some inventory waste, but right now in Salt Lake, these fittings are worth probably more than an ounce of gold because nobody has them. So that's strategic inventory. We don't have much of a choice on that.
Right.
Safety
Wow.
stock.
Oh, one other cool thing that we've done is these pipe wraps. So when we put fire risers in and ductile iron pipe, we have to put this wrap around it, and you can see it. It's hollow. So we had these made, and they're spring driven, and then you put that down with the spring, and it holds it in place. So when he's going down the freeway, it doesn't blow away.
Wow.
And this stuff.
But then you pick this up, and it rolls free.
Okay, I got to stop you, Patrick. Brandon, you need to have a product development side of your company. You need to be producing these products and get them to the market because these are freaking awesome ideas, and you know your industry. They're all amazing.
It is.
We've also
I just need a good manufacturer to team up with.
Yeah. Maybe if you want, I'm just saying off the top of my head, I would do all this stuff. This is just amazing ideas.
another thing we've added recently is a reel for their cords. You know, one of the extension cords are expensive, and we have to make sure we're taking care of them and keeping them up off the ground. So we've added a reel, and we've got it connected to where it easily connects to the generator. They can unreel this, clean it up, reel it back in. Everything's set up. There's no fumbling with cords.
Patrick,
Yes, Paul.
this is the classic example of the principle of connecting the work. You have put the things together that need to be together and made them easy and accessible. Extraordinary.
Well, these guys are brilliant, and we respect their intelligence level, and it allows them to really have buy-in, and I think it allows them to enjoy the work that they do a little more. And I'd like to hand it off to James now. This is one of our biggest successes, one of the first huge improvements we made. It definitely wasn't a 2-second improvement, but it now takes 2 seconds to use this trailer. So I'm going to hand it off to James, Paul.
Hey, James.
So I'm going to introduce you to our shoring trailer. We have small hydraulic shoring so we can get into tight places when we're digging trenches and it gets to be too deep. I'll give you a picture of what this looked like before. Our trailer looked like before we did this.
Oh, wow.
And so now if you look back here, you can see everything has a place. Everything is out of the way. I can walk through here freely. I can get to anything in this trailer without tripping over it or having to dig everything out to get to it. Some of the stuff so we originally put everything up on the shelves. I put them, strapped them with tie down straps just to hold them in place. A couple of the improvements that we did, because we're all about the incremental improvements. We did a big, huge push to get this organized. And then slowly we started doing extra stuff. These boards right here used to just slide out underneath our strap. So we put a kickboard so that they can't slide anymore. Another improvement is on each one of these spreaders, they have the rating for it, the width that it can go to, the maximum and minimum. So we had wrote it down right there. Excuse me. We had wrote it down there. Then our next improvement was, well, let's get some tape and color code them so that it's easier just to see where they're at. Then we also wrote, we have double rams and we also have single rams for the type of soil and the conditions that we're in. And then over here, we have places that we can put just our oil that we help spread them out with. We have extra parts. They're all labeled. If you look down here, there's each place where they're labeled for which parts they are. Some of our harnesses that we use when we go into confined spaces, we've strapped them up and put them up here, got them off of the ground. Every time we use this, it's easy to put back because there's visuals, there's actual writing on the walls. Everything is organized, and it's all about the small incremental improvements. We're looking at it. I look at this every day when we use it and try to find my next improvement on it.
And James, if it was me and I was looking at it every day, I'd put a smile on my face. I mean, that is just awesome what you guys did.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely great. Fantastic.
The
And one of my
coolest thing,
James,
Paul, is
thank you.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, real quick, is that you put the before and after picture on the wall so everybody knows where you came from.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, because sometimes the 2-second improvements, people fall behind on them because they say, well, it's not really gonna, I don't see it. So if you see after what things used to be, and now that we're doing it, and most of these were just small little improvements. They're nothing big, they're nothing earth shattering. But even just the color tape over just having a number, because sometimes these numbers get scratched out,
Right.
having the color tape to match it helps make the visual, and it's not a guessing game. We just hurry and go put it right where it's supposed to be.
Fantastic. Perfect. Well done.
Okay.
since we've implemented this, Paul, we don't have it as a mess anymore. When guys take it out into the field, it comes back the same way it left, and that is really the best part about it, I think. And it's so, the safety aspect of this, when you walked into it, to be honest, it was like a finger trap. You were ready to lose a finger or potentially twist an ankle, and it's an awesome improvement for our guys, and it makes it easier and makes them want to use it.
That's a great visualization. It's a finger trap. I fully understand, and I can identify with that.
Patrick, John, James, thank you so much. Let's go back to Brannon.
Extraordinary.
So back to the office for a minute. We're going to show a quick video, but I want to tell you what this video accomplished for us. In 2020 and going into 2021, there was a huge demand for construction, and I think just in general with everything. And we had a big problem. We couldn't hire enough people. And so we had to figure out how we're going to do a lot more work with the same amount of people. In between 2020 and 2021, with about the same amount of people, we were able to increase our revenue by about 36%. So it was about, we went from about 37 million just in our area up to over 50 million in just 1 year. So the video that Richard's going to share here for a second, it's going to describe how we pulled it off and how we use lean principles to figure out how to manage our resources a little better. So this part of our presentation is called Don't Copy Toyota, Find Your Waste and Reduce It. So something that was a little bit unique for us when it came to our particular kind of waste was we have very expensive equipment and it's very mobile. We don't have a stationary location in which we can manage things. It's on a lot of projects and we have a lot of pieces of equipment. This is 98 pieces of equipment. That doesn't even include our dump trucks, our water trucks, and it doesn't include our small equipment. This is just our major big pieces. We call it yellow iron in our industry. Over 100 employees as well. And as you can see, there's a lot of opportunity for waste with all of these moving parts. So what did we do? What did Lean teach us? It taught us to 3S our resources and to create standardized crews. So this is a lot simpler picture than the one I showed you before. So if you look up in the upper left-hand corner, pipe crew, there's 10 of those. Grader crew, there's 6 of those. It becomes very clear and much more manageable because we standardized crews and we really 3S'd our resources. Still even more waste. Each of those stars represents the 33 projects that we have along the Wasatch Front. Each of those projects has 82 different types of activities: water line, sewer line, earthwork, grading, all sorts of different things. 60 miles between the top project and the bottom project, and almost 60 miles from east to west. And there's 40 equipment changes, so we have to maneuver and move equipment around. How do you keep work in front of all of those crews, and how do you manage the constant changing demands of customers in such a fluid, dynamic industry that we work in? So we used another lean concept. We made a digital Kanban board. I'll explain a little bit about it in a minute, but I actually learned this from FastCap's Kanban board. We had to modify it because, of course, again, it's our waste. It's the way our industry works, so we have to modify it for our needs. So it's fairly simple. This is the work that we have ongoing right now. If you look at it, you'll see a name on each one of those projects that we have. That name represents one of those crews that you saw earlier. When a customer makes an order, it doesn't go onto our board until it's 2 to 3 weeks out. Everything that we do is about 2 to 3 weeks. And so if you look in the upper left-hand corner where we have it circled, we have starting in 2 to 3 weeks, and we have starting in 1 to 2 weeks. That gives us an idea of what work is coming in so we can schedule the equipment to move and make sure that the site is prepared and the materials are ready and staged for that crew's arrival. On the far right side, you'll see what's becoming available. So this is work in progress, but it's the projects that are finishing and who is going to finish them, which lets us see what crews can do the work that's coming in. This is called waiting to start. This means that we were not able to meet the customer's needs when they need it. We have an exclamation point on there to let us know that this is a big deal, that we need to make some adjustments and figure some things out in order to meet the customer's needs. This is an extreme example, but if you look on the left, you'll see that there are 6 jobs waiting to start or on the schedule. And on the right side, you'll see that there's only 2 projects on the way out. And you can see that this scale is a little bit off. And what this allows us to do is make adjustments to level the production so we can meet our customers' needs better.
But so that scale is actually something that visually comes up for you to see it, or no, that you just put it in there for us to see it?
That is a real board. It's on Trello that we use. And when we meet with our supervisors each week as orders come in, we populate that board.
I see. Okay, it's very good graphics. Go ahead.
Graders, for pipe crews, for scrapers, things of that nature. And we have a Kanban board for each one of those. This allows us to move our equipment and maybe even reconstitute some of those crews to do some of this work. If you look on this slide, there's 4 on each side. Maybe I need to pull in another crew and bring them in to do some of that work to supplement this side of the work. That allows us to eliminate waste because now I don't have sitting equipment, and I also don't have labor that we're paying and they're not getting anything done or wasting time on another project. So really what this allowed us to do was you only have so many resources, and those resources, I mean, you saw that picture. I was trying to show a picture of how much we're dealing with and how many moving parts, but that is a tremendous amount of waste. It's very, very expensive every single minute that those things are out there working. And we had to figure out a way to help them do more work. And so Britton here is one of our project managers, and he actually came up with the idea of using a digital Kanban board. And you know, how did you come up with the idea, and what empowered you to even think that, you know, I mean, I didn't come with the idea. I had nothing to do with it. He's the one that brought it up and experimented with it and told us what you should be doing. How did you even know to come up with it?
Well, I started watching a lot of videos. I was looking for something. I've been a project manager for a long time and wanted something that solved the problem. We've spent a lot of time scheduling. We do a lot of scheduling in the construction industry, and I've never felt like very much of it was very effective. And so just looking for something, and it really changed the mindset from being a kind of a push type system like we've been in construction my entire career to pulling in you know, jobs when they're ready, and then allocating those resources back to those jobs, and really kind of, you know, pulling everything from left to right. And it just was a lot more visual and a lot easier to control, and it's given us a lot of confidence that, you know, we know what's coming, and that we have the resources to take care of it.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes, I call that, it gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you a lot of emotional energy knowing that you're not scrambling and firefighting.
Yes.
You're cooking the ribeye perfectly, if you will. That is just amazing.
It was you're exactly right. It was very frightening, to be completely honest, when there was more work than you knew how to handle, and you had no idea if you could do it. And you were waiting for the other shoe to drop, and you were going to get yelled at and screamed at and breach of contract and all sorts of problems.
Yeah. Well, we used to come in and yell at the estimators that we needed more work. And 3 days later, we'd come in and tell them that they were killing us, or the opposite of that. And so it was, you know, this has helped us work out our workflow where we can give them clear signals when it's time to get more work, or clear signals when it's time to lay off a little bit.
And let me just take that moment to say Kanban simply means a signal.
Yes.
You create a visual workplace to even the load.
I think in general, Paul, just in what we were hoping to convey through this tour was that tactics, there's many tactics, but principles, there are few. And what we really attempted to do was apply to an industry where maybe those tactics don't apply from Toyota. Maybe the tactics we didn't see elsewhere apply, but the principles can be adapted to suit your waste. And I really believe that's in any industry. I don't care what it is. And I think it's a cop out if you try and say that won't work because of this reason. It can be anywhere.
And you did it masterfully.
Incredible. And that's all we have for today, unless there's other questions.
Well, the second this tour is over with and I get the video and I put it on my YouTube channel, I'm going to give it to at least 100 people. And the first people it's going to go to is my Kazakhstan construction company, and say, look at this magnificent work that they're doing. It's going directly to Aiden, the president of the company. amazing.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, I've been in industry over 50 years and I've never seen lean implemented in construction like this before. It is superb, absolutely superb.
Has the team been able to quantify the savings in time, rework, and safety improvements?
So I would say that yes, we have been able to quantify it in less defects on the job in the work that we're doing.
I think so as well. I think, you know, from a project manager standpoint, the overall financial results of individual projects and our area as a whole, I think it's been, you know, it can definitely be quantified in that. We've also been able to build new crews with a lot of the stuff that we're doing. So we're able to really innovate and grow in that regard, because it's not as difficult to do the work as it was before. And so it really is pushing and helping us to increase our revenue, and our costs are definitely going down.
And to be honest with you, we focus so much more on the quality of the work that we're putting in, and the lack of rework versus how much more additional feet. That's not really a metric we track. I mean, obviously, like Britton said, we're seeing it on the financial, but we are definitely having way less rework. We are discussing our defects. We are sharing that knowledge across all of our pipe crews. When we kind of started this journey, I would say that we had 4.5 pipe crews, and through lean and utilizing our resources better, we've been able to build 11 pipe crews in a year and a half, and that's allowed us to service our customers better. It's allowed us to kind of supercharge Britton's portion with the Trello boards, and really just allowed us to be more efficient and serve better customer service.
Yeah, Michael wants to know, how did you get resistant employees engaged?
Good to great. I mean, really.
You know, when you implement lean, what we started finding is that most of Alex Ramirez called it takers. I don't know if he stole that from somebody else in this group, but givers and the takers seem to self-vacate to a large degree. They don't like being part of it. They don't like being part of a giving group, and the takers kind of self-vacate. And we really focused, for us, we really focused in on our supervisors, the frontline supervisor, and developing them. And then they went and they developed the guys below them. As soon as we got our supervisors on board, it just, everything went very, very smooth. And we have amazing supervisors, which you haven't seen here. We have 8 of them for all of our different construction projects, but that made a huge, huge difference for us.
I didn't like lean, I'll admit that, when it was first introduced, and they just made it too complex. But when you start doing stuff like, you know, simplifying it, fix what bugs you, daily improvement, the 2-second lean type of concept is just so simple. Who doesn't like that? And so when I saw that it actually fixed things that I saw was wrong and needed to be fixed, the stuff sells itself.
Yeah, no offense to the Six Sigma and the back belt crew, but 2-second lean is a little easier to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it works for me.
Laura, next one.
So Alex actually wanted to know, do you exchange lean givers to work in other job locations so they can share the spirit and grow all different teams faster?
So that's kind of, I'd like to push you over to James for that. Sorry to interrupt, Brandon, but go ahead and then we can turn that over to James.
Well, go ahead. I want to hear what James has to say.
James needs to unmute. Well done.
So a lot of what we've been doing too is with some of the workloads, when we can, we double up pipe crews on a job, and then we have in our morning meetings, we have them go through each other's trucks and try to get ideas and bounce off of each other. One of the things that I think that we do really well with too is sharing our improvements. We have a channel on WhatsApp, we have a page, and everybody from a laborer to the supervisors are a part of it. And anytime anybody comes up with an improvement, we make a quick, it could be a 5-10 second video, it could even be a picture, and we share that with every single person that's on that chat. And it's basically everybody within our division that we share it with.
Brilliant
job.
James, I have a question for you. How long have you been in construction industry working with Sunroc?
I've been with Sunroc for 9 years now. I've been in construction for about 14.
Okay. So when Brannon introduced this concept to you, how long did it take you to basically drink the juice, And what was the turning point for you?
I believe that as soon as it started getting introduced to me, I was game for it, because I talk with my guys sometimes and I show them how to do stuff. I do a lot of training. I get told a lot of times that things look really easy the way I'm doing it, but a lot of the times it's just the process, and people just need to learn a process on how to do stuff. And I always try to find the easiest way to do stuff, like how the chop saw that we showed the chop saw. Like, there's times where you're doing stuff and it's back breaking and it hurts. And I did a lot of that in the trench in my days. And I always thought to myself, the way that I did things and the way that I tried to train people, how can we make this easier? And that's part of the 2-second lean. From when we used a different tool that made things 100 times easier, it actually improved probably by 5 or 6 minutes to bevel a pipe. But I believe I clicked onto it pretty quickly, because in my own mind, I was doing a lot of it, but I wasn't sharing how I was doing stuff.
Right.
So,
right. Excellent.
And I think that's one of the biggest improvements on mine, is just trying to share that knowledge and not try to hoard the knowledge to make myself look better, but I'm trying to make everybody else look better also. Try to lift up everybody in my group.
Yeah, it looks like you drank the juice years ago, but you drank the elixir when you read 2-second lean.
Yeah, well, I never knew what I was doing, and so it was easy for me to follow into it. But
sure.
I think it's getting other people's to buy into it, and it's just constant reinforcement, constant giving people the resources. Like Patrick said, that if it's under $200, go get it. Like, they'll reimburse you immediately for it. You turn in the receipt, it's on your next paycheck.
And you know, that is a huge takeaway for companies. It really is, the fact that you've got the authority to go out and do things. I mean, traditionally, you know, leaders would say, okay, send me a list of the tools that you want, and I'll go order them for you. And that's too late. Having the ability to just jump into it and get it done, that is a really valuable takeaway for any organization.
We'll see improvements on the weekend, Saturday morning. I just got back from Home Depot. Look what I did on the road.
Well, and really, one of the things with that too is that we've struggled to be able to get a lean cave together, just because of the proximity to the shop and where the guys are working.
Sure.
So empowering them to do that, and them knowing that, like, it's really just accelerated it. And we've actually built a lean cave twice, Paul, and unfortunately, due to the circumstances of the industry and the economy right now, it has been broken into, and our plans have been thwarted.
Yeah, I know. Well, interesting, Patrick, when you guys were talking about that, James and Patrick, I thought this is your version of a lean cave. Now, I want you to know that if it was me and I worked for you, what I would do is I'd go into Home Depot, spend the $200, and walk back in, spend another $200, and walk back in, spend another, and I just submit like 8 different things, because I have to make that many improvements. But, you know, I would work the system a little bit.
Okay, we're getting close to the end now, team. Okay, Laura, any more questions before we get into feedback?
Vaughn wanted to know, who else do you follow in the industry for lean?
Who else do we follow? I mean, we follow basically everybody on this chat. We watch videos in our morning meetings. We have videos from all over the place, and I pull them off of our Signal chats and I put them in our morning meetings, and we are peppered with I think we know half of everybody on this tour, and our guys in the field know half of everybody on this tour. So hopefully you don't mind that, because we're watching you every morning.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. Vaughn has just posted a link to everybody. It's leanconstructionblog.com. So if you haven't known that, one of you guys can take a copy of it, Brannon, and you're into yet another chat. The chat that Brannon mentioned is a Lean Maniacs group on the Signal with Paul, myself, Dave Lalonic started it, and boy, oh boy, it's explosive. Every single 5 minutes, you've got an improvement video coming through, and it's just inspiration you wouldn't believe. It's incredible.
Brought to you by AME and paulakers.net, where you can find all my books and resources on my website, paulakers.net, for free. You can even get my new app, 2-Second Lean Play, where I have all my books available in 9 languages in the audio format. designed for you to listen while you work and play at paulakers.net or Lean Play.